I was at an air show with my father, and there was a lightning jet. It passed me, no noise whatsoever. And all of a sudden there was a horrendous roar. And I just looked at my dad and I said, "Why is that?" And he said, "It's flying faster than the speed of sound." That was the defining moment.
So your gift, therefore, to aviation is pleasure.
You could probably say that, yes. Yes. I mean, at the end of the day, for us, we wanted people to jump in this aeroplane and have fun. The whole Swift Technology Group is about that word, technology. And effectively what we're doing with the Swift aircraft is also bringing new technologies into the aircraft. We're bringing up-to-date technologies into the aircraft.
The complications of designing a brand new aeroplane mustn't be underestimated. How is the creative seed nurtured to make the Swift aeroplane?
Essentially, you just start off with an idea. You know, what do you want to target in terms of a market? The target for this is two-seater training market. Obviously, it's a very, very capable touring machine.
We've got restrictions ourselves in what we want to have on this aircraft. We don't want a lot of things sticking out of it. We're hiding the exhaust, we're hiding the aerial, and these sort of challenges that we've been given, how we can have a canopy mechanism that opens fully out, but that can also be detached from the aircraft in flight for safety, for a bailout, and these are the design aspects that excite us.
We've accounted for maximum takeoff weight and our maximum engine weight. And within this airframe, it can accommodate for all of those. We've taken this beautiful aesthetic shape and used CFD to iron out all the kinks with regards to performance, making sure it can do exactly what we want it to do. Just comparing it to some of the aircraft that are here today, you can tell that it's very streamlined.
It does look like an aeroplane suitable for both sexes.
Very nice looking, and then just very smooth skin.
I think it looked really beautiful, stunning design.
The thing I've always found very frustrating, even when I was learning to fly many, many years ago, was the fact is that you would turn up at a flying school, they would ask you to fly in these, Cessna 152s, very, very old machines, and it wasn't very glamorous. I mean, yes, at the end of the day, you wanted to fly, so therefore you didn't care. This whole thing behind me now is really to bring a little bit of glamour.
Yeah, I think it's quite sleek. The shape's quite streamlined.
It's very eye candy, isn't it?
It's very smooth.
Well, the only tangent really in terms of aviation is Europa Aircraft. I mean, again, it was a British company. When we took it over in 2008, it was soon to sort of be going out of existence. I mean, really, I'm just very passionate about British aviation. You just could not let a name like Europa Aircraft die.
Why are you such a strong advocate for Made in Britain?
Pride.
We all need a purpose in life, to be inspired to change the world. So what was the catalyst that fueled Dave to set up Swift Aviation?
Well, initially it was the aeroplane that was the raison d'etre for the whole of the Swift group anyway. I've been flying for many, many years, always thought that we could do something better because there's nothing new out there in the training market. And that was the reason why we wanted to design this new aeroplane, just to prove that it can be done and to prove that it can be done in Britain.
Here, in the UK, we have a great aviation lineage and heritage. Can Swift Aircraft pioneer and spearhead the change that will ignite excitement in the UKGA around the global aviation charts?
We'll be a part of it. At the end of the day, there's also other companies now around the UK who are, coming up with aircraft, so we're just a part of it. But it's great to hear, or great to know, that there are other companies out there who are also trying to, forge ahead the British aspect of aviation. And some aeroplanes, they're very functional, they're very practical, but sometimes they don't look that great. I mean, really what we wanted to do with the Swift aircraft is to bring something that really looked good.
The aircraft is going to be made entirely of composite materials, which are very, very strong, very rigid, as well as very light.
Well, the market came first, aesthetics came second, and essentially we're just making the engineering follow that.
Well, the only thing that I've noticed about it is what the wings look like, which is they look like a Spitfire wing.
I mean, at the end of the day, we wanted an aeroplane. If you looked up in the sky, you would recognise it as a Swift.
Beautiful. I like it very much.
And all around the world, the birth of the smartphone, like the iPad and the iPhone, has revolutionized the way aviators use technology to make flying safer.
With existing aeroplanes, there's no way to charge them, there's no way to power them. With the Swift, part of the design.
So, who is this aeroplane for, and what's the potential reach?
Worldwide. I mean, effectively, once it becomes qualified, CS VLA and CS 23 afterwards, it can be used anywhere in the world. Mainly fleet training schools for people who just want to go touring in a nice looking aeroplane. It's for the military with the bigger engine in the front. There's no reason why we can't go down that avenue.
It looks like a Spitfire really, I suppose, just with the elliptical wing. I'm a Royal Navy pilot. We look for quite specific things in military trainers, so I'm sure it is modern enough to enable us to teach pilots into the future.
Compared with when I was born, we had a lot of manufacturers.
Britain has a fine history in aviation, but over the last few years it's faded. Back in the 30s we had over 30 aircraft companies. Today we have 3.
We're seeing some resurgence in British manufacturing. As you're probably aware, British manufacturing over the last few years has suffered, not just in the aviation sector but generally, and anything where we see new initiatives coming. But in reality, as much as anything, we need governmental support to boost our manufacturing industry.
Well, I mean, essentially for this sector of the market, you don't need any kind of approvals in terms of, CS VLA or CS 23. You just don't need them. On the other hand, you do require the backing of the LAA, because they are the design authority.
I visit the building of the Aviation when they built this the wood. Now we have a kind of aircraft that was made of composite. You have to be talented. In the new machine, you have a lot of system who make the job at your place. Okay, you understand what I mean? Look, I think this kind of passion is growing and growing and growing, and everywhere, yes, the shapes are pure art.
The aircraft industry, as you say, it hasn't really changed, over the last 30, 40 years. This aircraft will be a sports car that flies. The engines are evolving, and we want to keep in contact with all the engine suppliers to know what their latest models are. The good thing now with this aircraft being designed in CAD and in 3D is that they can give us their engine sizes, they can give us their engine models. We can place them into the airframe to see if it will work. So that enables us to plan ahead and keep ahead of the game.
The aircraft is designed, or the platform is designed, so that we can take any from a 100 horsepower engine all the way through to a 260 horsepower engine. 100 horsepower, we should get around 120 knots. The 118 horsepower, we should be getting around just over 130 knots. And all the way through to the 260 horsepower engine that should be given around 160 knots.
Tucked away neatly in the glorious English countryside is Wimbledon Airfield, once home to the Royal Air Force, now the operational base for Swift in the 21st century.
We've gone through a number of planning permissions to upgrade the facilities. We've upgraded the hangar to turn it into a maintenance facility. We've upgraded the control tower to turn it into a design office. And as I say, we are now looking into sort of upgrading some of the runways to actually just increase again this whole perception of aviation.
One word, sexy.
It's pretty, it's white, it's sleek.
If we ourselves want to produce it, we also have the production organisation approval as well. And essentially that's what we're aiming to do so far as well at Wimbledon.
Aviation fuel is not cheap. For old aeroplanes like the Cessnas and Pipers, they can be costly to run and maintain. So why wouldn't a flying school invest in a fleet of Swifts?
We will be offering some sort of lease deal as well, so therefore the flying school doesn't have to purchase the aeroplane, but they can obviously make use of the aeroplane and just effectively pay it on a per hour basis.
It would be good if the RAF had bought British-made aeroplanes.
Many, many years ago we came up with great aeroplanes, the Spitfire, the Hurricane, before then in the First World War, after then the Vulcan, the Lightning, and now we have nothing. But I just find it very, very sad, and it's wrong, and we just need to put it right.
What's wrong about it?
It's wrong that we lost it.
We're looking at India, we're looking at China, the United States, South America, Australia. These are all markets that we feel that we will be able to provide a product to which will be attractive to those markets. Those guys are going to want a quality product. There's a whole new middle class with disposable income. They want high quality goods.
Do you have sleepless nights about your competition?
No.
Why not?
Why should I? I at the end of the day, it wouldn't stop me doing what I'm doing. It's a big market out there. In terms of certified VLA aeroplanes, there's only 5 others. There's room for another.
The UK has made some groundbreaking aeroplanes, be it the Spitfire or the Harrier jump jet. How great is the responsibility for Swift to live up to the people's expectation for it to become an iconic British plane?
Well, that depends upon how many items we sell, doesn't it? I mean, at the end of the day, if we could turn up like we have with the Europa aircraft here, if people can turn up at 40 or 50 Swifts in a few years' time, then I think we would accomplish the goal. My favourite flying memory, believe it or not, is when I had a little accident not so long ago. It suddenly makes you realise that nobody's infallible, to be brought back down to earth again, because since that little incident, I have actually changed a few things on the Swift aircraft as well.
And so, could Dave one day be considered as a future member of the UK's great aviation talent list?
I won't go as far as that. I would just say I'm a very passionate person about British aviation, and essentially just need to bring it back.